And we have tried to be pretty intentional about the encouragement part. Like actually, we kind of learned it just through building different endeavors and teams of people that we realized that people will do what you edify more than what you teach.
Right.
And we're all drawn to actually being noticed. We're all drawn to actually being recognized for doing something well. And, this is why most workplaces, even when they do all of the different surveys of the workplace environment, to people will stay in an environment that pays less as long as it encourages well.
Yeah, if they feel like they're being respected and loved.
Yeah, they're being
whatever
noticed.
they need. Hello, everyone. We are Greg and Jacquie Francis, and welcome to High Performance Parenting, where our passionate goal is to encourage you to raise champion children in a crazy world. Every week, we will bring you multiple episodes from our extensive experience of raising our six happy, healthy, successful, godly kids who are confidently equipped to win big in life.
We deeply believe that any parent who is provided with the right knowledge and continual support can raise amazing kids. And when they do, all of our futures get better. If raising up future generations of absolute champions matters to you as much as it does to us, here's how you can contribute. Like and share this podcast with everyone you know. And together, let's embrace this journey of raising champion kids in a crazy world. Hello again, honey.
Hello, hon. I always kind of giggle. So when we first prepare to get on, Greg and I will kind of clear our throat and kind of get our coughs out. Yeah, we try to get it all going. And then within the first 3 minutes, both of us are like,
It almost made it worse. It seems like it makes it worse.
I don't know.
I get some phlegm.
And we try so hard. And then it's just oh, well, we forgot. We're just going to be us. What are you going to do? Just choke on it all, the whole time?
That's funny.
See?
Oh.
All right.
Hey,
what are we talking about?
Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon?
No.
Yeah, it's great food, just no atmosphere.
That one's definitely a dad joke.
Oh, gosh. That's a good one. You laughing on? Did you give it a little?
It's coming later.
Oh, okay.
It's coming later.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we were talking about family culture and how the last episode was about how it can be diminished with not something big, but a bunch of little small decisions. And, sometimes people will say to us that, so you guys have you have a big emphasis on this culture word, that you guys create a culture that everybody can buy into and everybody supports. And I'll say, yeah, what would you say your family culture is, the main parts? And I'm like, I don't know if we really have a culture. And what I always say to them is that actually you do. You just don't even know you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because culture isn't what you say your family values. It's more what your family repeatedly experiences.
Exactly.
And it can either be intentional repeated experiences or it can be unintentional, but it still builds them. So it's when you say we don't really have a family culture, every family has one. Every single family has one. It's kind of an eye-opener, though. I know this is kind of a simple thing to say, but sometimes there's just a realization that you don't even realize you have created a culture, right? In your own house. Just because you haven't specifically created one that is intentional doesn't mean you haven't created one.
Right. It's like habits, right? They're either good or bad.
Yeah.
Right. But you've all created habits every day.
Yeah.
Well, we've all created a culture every day.
Yeah. So what are some of the things that can be in a family culture that they don't even know are part of their culture? What would some of those things be?
I think one thing is what happens when somebody makes a mistake. What is your culture for forgiveness? What is your culture for learning from it? What is your culture of moving on from it? What's that look like for your family?
Yeah, it's we were talking a couple episodes ago about Ellie's 13th birthday coming up. And as I was listing out the things that she has done well, I was also remembering some things she hasn't.
Sure.
Right. And, but you and I, we have a culture of forgive and forget. We have a culture of restoring the standard. We have a culture of learning and moving on. And so one of the things I'm going to highlight when I brag on her is how I'm not going to bring up her mistakes, but instead I'm going to say, even though you made some pretty significant mistakes, what I really love is how you embraced changing from them,
right,
and moving on past them and becoming better even because of them.
I think that's such a good point. Such a good point. We don't dwell on the mistakes we've made. We're thankful for what we learned from them, and we've become better because of them.
Yeah. And so, I can envision me growing up, and if you made certain mistakes, typically then if you're going into a new season, like a birthday or something, there would be, the humor would kind of be, well, yeah, you did this good. But you remember when you did that thing? Mm-hmm. And do you remember when you did that thing? Ha, ha, ha.
Poke fun at it.
Remember when you made that mistake? Ha, ha, ha. And I remember it builds in your identity that, yeah, you kind of were a screw up. And maybe you ultimately are a screw up, right? You're a screw up trying to not act like a screw up.
Yeah.
Versus the opposite, which is, no, actually, you're a really great, high character, disciplined, awesome kid that actually acted against who you are in these small windows.
Yep.
But you know what? You had to deal with the repercussions of it. You learned from it. You moved on from it, and you got restored back to who you actually are.
Yes.
Right. That's really important. But it is a big cultural part of a home. This whole forgiveness topic, but how you navigate it. How do you navigate what forgiveness looks like? Are you willing to have the after someone genuinely repents and they deal with what they have to, are you willing to actually genuinely say that it's like it never happened?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you don't, then you're kind of trapped by past mistakes.
Always.
Right? What's another one?
Is your family a yelling family? I don't think you grew up with more of a yelling family. Remember you talking a lot about that, but instead of maybe slowing down and discussing things when you made a mistake, is there yelling going on or screaming or anything like that, kind of an emotional reaction to your family dynamic versus, hey, let's discuss this issue. Your behavior here didn't line up with our standards, or, hey, I need some thought process on what you were thinking about here. Some people's homes are naturally more of a high volume place, not for fun necessarily.
And I think you kind of had a little bit of that.
Yeah, I was going to say I came from that. I would say my dad wasn't like that. He was very matter of fact.
Well, unless you did something really bad, right?
Yeah, but there was only 5 of those, and those were a little. I kind of deserved it. Those were. Yeah.
Let's talk about them. Let's tell the world about them. Maybe a different episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll save those. Right. My dad didn't yell, but when his voice was heard, you were like, oh, this got to a new level. Do you know what I'm saying? I would say my mom was more the yeller, Jackie, get over here. Oh my gosh, what did you just do? Type thing. And I'm like, oh shoot, she just found out. And so for me, it was more like a real quick going through okay, how do I respond? How do I get the yelling stop? What's happening right now? How can I fix this? How can I apologize? I would go through a Rolodex in my head of all the things I thought could help. You know what I mean? But some people's families, that's how they are. And some have a silent treatment thing going on. When you do something wrong, nobody wants to talk to you. They don't talk about it.
That's probably more what I had.
Mm-hmm. More you were just kind of next thing you know, there was a silent treatment on you.
Yeah. Yeah, you just kind of felt like, okay, you just created problems, and I don't really want to deal with you or the problems. Right? It was kind of how it felt. And so then you just kind of walked on eggshells for a while. Then eventually something else distracted everybody, and
another kid made a mistake.
You're quote unquote back to normal, right? And it never really got resolved. It got left unresolved. But yeah, I mean, and I can see, in both of us that we have to kind of fight it because we grew up with it,
right?
Yeah. And, you've been pretty hard on yourself for some of the times that you've turned into the yeller, right? And because it's not really who you want to be.
No, and I mean, I've talked on numerous episodes the 1 or 2 times it really affected me, where I was like, this stops here. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like this,
right? So culture in our house is that we don't want to be yellers. Even though once in a while we slip up. But in general, we teach our kids not to be yellers towards each other, just to actually be able to communicate, address things in a way that's effective, And
even for you and me, again, we went through bad seasons together where it's again, we're trying to figure out marriage, we're trying to figure out life, we're trying to figure out parenting, where it's again, the yelling or the silent treatment, whichever we feel more comfortable with, would come out on us. Yeah. We were like, this is not, it stops here.
Yeah.
So for us, we had to change that culture.
Yeah.
Another thing I think too is, how do we encourage and love each other? What's your culture like with that? Right? Are you an encouraging culture or are you maybe always, searching for that?
Yeah. Is it that there's only recognition when somebody does something wrong? But if people are doing things right, you never even notice it necessarily, at least verbally.
Right.
And I would say that's probably most homes.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because it's just like we've all been raised this way for generations. That it's like, okay, here's the right thing to do the right thing, and okay, that's it. But I'm going to really bring up some stuff. I might not talk to you a lot, but I'm going to talk to you when you make mistakes. Right. And we have tried to be pretty intentional about the encouragement part. Like actually, we kind of learned it just through building different endeavors and teams of people. That we realized that people will do what you edify more than what you teach.
Right.
And we're all drawn to actually being noticed. We're all drawn to actually being recognized for doing something well. And, this is why most workplaces, even when they do all of the different surveys of the workplace environment, to people will stay in an environment that pays less as long as it encourages well.
Yeah, if they feel like they're being respected and loved,
yeah,
whatever they need. And I agree with that. I mean, I notice with our kids, you know what I mean? Like, of course, there's times to correct bad behavior. But when we edify them for doing great on things, even on a weekly basis, I mean, for sure, anytime we see something, you and I are quick to say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm proud of you for that. You did well in that, But we do it at our team meetings for sure to see how we can all edify each other. And it's kind of like a game. Everyone's raising their hands. Hey, I want to edify so-and-so, and I want to edify I want to edify so-and-so. And I think we do that because it's like the more we edify, the more they do it.
Yeah. Another cultural piece is, does your family laugh? Right? Do you actually have fun? And what do you laugh about? I think that's another one. Because, in the past, you grew up in a very sarcastic household.
True.
Where a lot of the jokes were aimed at someone. And they do cut, and so you had to kind of break away from even doing that. And and I think a lot of people kind of grow up in that kind of atmosphere. But do you encourage laughter? Do you encourage fun stuff? Do you have a lot of laughter in your household? I think we actually do pretty good at this because we do encourage everybody to bring humor to the table. There's that frog in a throat again. Jeez,
frog in a throat.
I don't know if you remember when we were kids. There's a commercial that was for like cough medicine or something. And it was this cute little boy. And he said, Mom, I have a frog in my throat.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one. Oh.
It's always stuck in my head. But anyways.
Yeah, we do encourage. In fact, I think our kids walk around and they are like kind of laughing at themselves through life and laughing at each other. I mean, our son, for instance, he will say and do the funniest things when he thinks nobody's listening to him. And I really don't think he thinks anybody's around. He's living in his own life. Yeah. And he sings all the time, or he'll just like start, I don't know, saying some funny, I don't even know. And we will be sitting together sometimes, you and I, like maybe discussing something, even seriously, together, like, hey, let's go in the other room and talk. And then we hear him doing something. You and I are both like, our eyebrows go up and we're like, I have no idea what he's doing. Or the guy will finally get the bathroom to himself for a minute. The poor guy has, 5 sisters. He never gets a moment to himself. The minute he goes into the bathroom, I need the bathroom, Drews, I got to go. And he's like, okay, I just got in here, right? So he'll go in the shower and we will hear him singing and doing his thing. And everyone's like, what is he doing? What's he doing? I'm like, leave him alone, like.
He just belted it out. It's so funny. All right. So just remember, everyone out there, culture gets created.
Yeah.
Regardless.
That's good.
And so I would suggest putting some intentionality behind it, but then also creating a level of repeatability with it too. And so, here's just some examples for y'all out there if you want to jot down a couple of notes of things that you could add into your culture that you could not only exemplify, but encourage and recognize. And, there could be things like gratitude.
Yeah.
It could be things like respect towards mom and dad and each other. By the way, it's biblical. There's a lot in the word that talks about why kids should honor their parents and what it does for them. It can be prayer. It can be whatever your process for prayer is. So, we always pray every evening. We rotate our kids. It can be being servants, right? Do we have an attitude of being a servant?
Yeah, that's good.
Instead of just being someone who expects to get something. How do you handle conflict? Do you completely avoid it? Do you face into it right away? Do you address it in a way that resolves it? I feel like conflict resolution is such an important thing to get good at.
Yeah.
So things don't build and things don't create these distances and wedges. And, it's sad to me when I hear people that are out there, and even my own personal experiences with my siblings, it's like, there's so many families that after they get out of the house, they don't really have a relationship anymore. They just don't. And you wonder why. Like, what is that all about? I think it has a lot to do with all the little conflicts that never really probably got resolved, created enough disconnection that when you became independent, you kind of evaluated whether or not you want that person to be close in your life anymore.
Yeah.
Now
you have a choice.
And we work pretty hard on this in our house to make sure our kids stay tight and stay unified. It's one of our family cultures and one of our standards that our family is best friends with each other. Yeah. Right. And these are your people for the rest of your life. And it's huge. And other stuff is like, what do you do with screens? How do you manage chores? That's a really good topic to handle culture. We have a culture in our household that we are a big family. So with having a big family comes a lot of work. And so it's not on mom and dad to do all the work. We all carry our load because many hands makes light work.
Yeah, we have a philosophy of, work hard, play hard.
Yeah. So.
And I like this challenge we want to throw out to everybody right now. If someone lived in our home, you and me, how would they describe our family?
Yeah. So like if they came in for 30 days. If they came into your house, you guys, for 30 days, and they were just kind of monitoring, and they were going to do a report on what your culture is.
Yeah, and I think that's so neat because personally, I would love it. I actually think, I say it all the time. I'm like, well, maybe it's kids we know, families we know, we see sweet people we find, and their kids are behaving in ways that are not who they are. They're not who God created them to be. They're not behaving in the way that he designed them to be. I say, how many times do I say to you all the time? I wish they just could come live with us. The kid would never want to leave our house. Yeah. They would love it here.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're right. And I think if you kind of work towards that, it's kind of like you can be proud of the culture you're developing. Yeah. Would somebody love being part of your culture? It's not perfect and it's not fun all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a culture they want to be a part of.
That's right. So for all you parents out there, work on the culture you want to create. And just remember that your children don't become what you expect. Yeah. They become what your home repeatedly reinforces. Okay. Good job. Boom. Hey everyone, thanks for listening and thanks for your love and support. We hope that today's episode added tremendous value to you and your family. It would mean so much to us if you would partner with us on our mission of helping parents around the globe raise champion children in this crazy world.
To do so, simply take a moment to like and share this podcast with everyone in your network. See you next time.